Most C programmers know string compare strings, but very few can predict this output correctly. Let's test your logic with this tricky question. Here, we're trying to compare the two strings, carpenter and cattle, and then we're trying to print the return value of the string compare. The question is, what does the string compare return when the strings are equal, and what does it return when the strings are not equal? Right? Now, string compare returns 0 if the strings are equal. If strings are equal. Now the question is carpenter and cattle, are they equal strings? The answer is no. So since they're not equal string, the first option is ruled out, right? Now the next question is, now they're not equal. Now if you just observe carefully, the length of the carpenter is 9 characters and the length of the cattle is basically 6 characters. Now, does it basically give me the difference in the length of the characters? So if you think in that particular way, it will be 3, but the reality is string compare does not compare based on the length. Instead, it tries to compare the strings alphabetical order. So since it does not compare based on the length of the strings, instead of, okay, it's going to compare the ASCII values of the characters, the option D is ruled out. Now, between this greater than 0 and less than 0 here. Now, how does this compare? Right? The first thing is basically going to start with the first character or the first string and then compare the first character with the second string. If these two are same, then it will move to the next character, like second character of the first string, second character of the second string. They are same again. Now, the next thing is third character and third character. Now they are not same, right? Now, since they're not same, it's going to compare the ASCII values of R and the ASCII value of T, right? Since the ASCII value of ASCII value is lesser when compared to T, right? It gives you a negative value, right? So now, this negative value in some compilers, it could be -1, or it could be the difference in ASCII values, right? So based on this is the correct answer. Okay, now let's try to compile and verify this. Let me try to compile this file. And then let me try to run this. I got it -1, but we did not have -1 as the option. We basically had less than 0. Why is that? We'll try to quickly see the man page of string compare, and you can just observe string compare accepts two strings. And if you carefully observe the return value of this, it says that the string compare function returns an integer less than, equal to, or greater than 0. Remember, it tells you it could either return less than 0, equal to 0, or greater than 0 if S1 is found respectively to be less than, to match, or to be greater than S2, right? So in case if S1 is found, okay, respectively less than S2, then returns lesser value, less than 0, right? If it matches, it returns equal to 0. If it is greater, then basically returns S2. In our case, the R was lesser than T, it basically returned negative value. Fine. Okay, I hope this concept is clear. Now, a small, okay, modification of this question is, what would have happened if I had basically compared, instead of carpenter and cattle, if I had just used cat and cattle? What would have been the answer, right? Answer this. Thank you.